On Friday, September 1, 2017, Lydia and I joined fellow shipmates Jim and Leah Lacamus, Deborah Rico, David and Rhonda Prieto, and Ben and Debbie Rodriguez in Seattle for a 7-day cruise to Alaska. Our ship was a Royal Caribbean Explorer of the Seas. The weather in Seattle was nice and warm with good views of the harbor and the Space Needle. Mount Rainier at 14,410 feet was clouded in smoke from wildfires, as was the entire western United States. Lydia. This nuclear-powered aircraft carrier John C. Stennis is based in Bremerton, Oregon. Departing Seattle at 4 p.m. Friday, we sailed overnight and all day Saturday, arriving at Juneau, Alaska around noon on Sunday, September the 3rd. Juneau in the Alaska Panhandle is a capital city of Alaska. It's the second largest city in the United States by area. Juneau had been the capital of Alaska since 1906, when the government of what was then the District of Alaska was moved from Sitka as directed by the U.S. Congress in 1900. Our first shore excursion was the Mount Roberts Tramway, which opened in 1996. It rises 1,800 feet from the cruise ship dock in downtown Juneau through the rainforest to the Mountain House, offering expansive views of Juneau and the Gastineau Channel. The Mount Roberts Tramway is one of the most vertical tramways in the world.
Tell the men where to go and what to do, just like every other day in our culture. Yeah. So there, folks, quick little translation since we're coming up pretty fast. Kasua, hey, where are you? Sacramento, Hawaii.
Views of the Gastineau Channel and our ship at anchor were quite spectacular. From the 1,800-foot level, the Mount Roberts Alpine Loop Trail climbs another 300 feet into the true Alpine, with 60 stair steps, a length of a half mile, and an elevation gain of just 150 feet. The main trail takes you to open vistas, mountain valleys, snow gullies, rocky ridges, and stunning views of the mountains in Glacier Bay, British Columbia, the Southeast Alaskan Panhandle, and the Admiralty Island National Monument. The only eagle I saw in Alaska was this one undergoing rehabilitation at the Mount Roberts summit. The Red Dog Saloon is the oldest tourist attraction in Juneau. Founded during Juneau's mining era, the saloon has been in continuous operation. For a time, entertainer Ragtime Hattie played the piano in white gloves and a silver dollar halter top. Our next stop was Skagway from 7 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. Rain came down from before we arrived until after our departure. We tied up stern to stern with the Royal Caribbean's Radiance of the Seas. The shore excursion was a 4-hour train ride on the scenic White Pass and Yukon route. There were 5 tour trains operating from the docks. Unfortunately, our train's locomotive had engine problems at the 3-mile point and had to back all the way down. So here from the Chamber of Commerce is what we did not get to see. Here's some scenes of downtown Skagway at the end of the tourist season with rain coming down and nobody in town. In 1896, gold was found in the Klondike region of Canada's Yukon Territory. On July 29, 1897, the steamer Queen docked with the first boatload of prospectors. More ships brought thousands of hopeful miners into the new town and prepared for the 500-mile journey to the gold fields in Canada. The population increased enormously and reached 30,000, composed largely of American prospectors. Skagway was the largest city in Alaska. The famous Chilkoot Trail and the White Pass Trail to the Yukon started at Skagway. On Tuesday, September 5 at 7 a.m., we arrived at the inlet to the Eielson Arm Fjord, hoping to see the Dawes Glacier. We had free hot chocolate, or some paid for sweet liqueurs in their hot chocolate.
I haven't seen any kind of marine animal.
This is known as the Hanging Glacier, located between the Tracy Arm Fjord and the Endicott Arm Fjord. We cruised all day Wednesday and arrived in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada on Thursday morning. Our inside cabin had what was called a virtual balcony screen that ran all the way from the ceiling down to the floor. Our shore excursion in Victoria was the Old Canada Victoria Highlights 2-hour bus tour. Many spots were actually within walking distance. Lydia and I got our recently renewed passports stamped here. Our bus tour operator was quite comical and made the bus tour quite interesting. We stopped here at the highest point on Victoria Island. Near the end of the bus tour, we took the opportunity to get off at the last stop and walk the about 1 mile back to the boat along the shoreline of the harbor and saw many interesting sights. Back at the dock, our boat had been joined by the Celebrity Solstice. Breakfast and lunch were served in the huge Windjammer Market on Deck 11. Evening dining was in a 3-level sapphire dining room. The chefs and cooks came from 54 different countries, preparing over 10,000 meals per day. Our waiters were Jorby and Akash. Jorby served as head waiter and also supervised 245 other waiters. Overall, the waiters represented 72 nationalities. There were 2 formal nights in the dining room where we dressed up for dinner.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's do that one more time. Very good evening, everyone. Welcome back.
On formal nights, professional photos were taken. For Lydia and I, this cruise was a wonderful reunion with our Texas friends. Many thanks to Leah Lakamis for your organizing skills. Bon voyage.